Fantasies are fun and everyone has them. However, there comes a time when fantasies stop you from living in reality. Reality obviously isn't as wonderful. Maybe it's even unbearable for you right now. That's certainly true if you're recovering from a relationship with a narcissist. So in this video, the first in my Take Back Your Life series, that's what we're going to talk about. Fantasy versus reality, the one-day wager, living in real time, and what it all means. Trust me, with hard work and resilience that you already have, you can make reality better than the fantasy you keep replaying in your mind. Hi there and welcome back. My name is Jess. If this is your first time here and you want to learn about narcissistic abuse, start now by subscribing and ring the notification bell so you don't miss an upload, a post, or a live stream. Speaking of, I do live stream every Wednesday right here on YouTube at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, so I invite you to come and check those out every week. If you want your name in my intros, if you want my content 24 hours before anybody else gets to see it, or if you want access to my exclusive motivational pep talk series that comes out once a week on Wednesday, hit join just below the video, or there's a link down in the video description, and you can enlist in the Survivor's Army by becoming a channel member. This series is going to take us deep into trauma bonds and how to break them. Something all survivors of narcissistic abuse struggle with to some degree is trauma bonding. I'm just going to give some general information here so that as you and I go through this together, we're on the same page. A trauma bond is a bond that occurs in extremely toxic relationships. This bond is built on and made very powerful by something called inconsistent positive reinforcement. It can also be referred to by some as the push and pull effect. I usually call it the punishment and reward system. This basically means we stay in terrible situations far, far longer than we should. But what keeps us staying is the possibility of the reward, if you will, or the pull or the positive reinforcement. You'll ride out the shitstorm for 100 days. For one day of romance or sweetness or love bombing, essentially. You know it's coming. You know you'll get it. You just don't know when. And that's the whole idea. The narcissist gives you this attention when they want to. Everything is on their terms, and they know that you will wait for more. And this is what gets you hooked to the narcissist in the beginning. This is what gets you addicted to the relationship. There has been many studies done that this is very closely related to being addicted to drugs. That first high that you get in love bombing is the best you're ever gonna feel, as with drugs. But then it starts to destroy you. But you can't stop. It'll suck out your soul, but you're still looking to feel like you did the first time you did the drug. Or in this case, you're starting to look for those feelings that you first got in love bombing by the narcissist. So now hopefully you understand that if you didn't already, which I'm sure you did. So let's get into that first step that you have to do to break these trauma bonds and really take back your life. In the early stages here, the best thing that you can do is learn how to practice living in reality. And that's where what I spoke about in my intro comes into play. We all hang on to those feelings in the beginning of the relationship, how amazing it was. And maybe you even found yourself asking the narcissist the same kinds of questions that I was asking the narcissist in my life. Things like, why can't things just be like they were in the beginning? Why can't we go back to the before time? What the hell happened? And you start to think about those times a lot, and you want them back so bad. You hang on to that future faking, getting married, having kids and houses and trips, and before you know it, you slip away into a world that is just totally not real. You live in the fantasy while you wait for another little dose of positivity from the narcissist that gives you that euphoric feeling again. You wait and wait and wait. Deciding that you're going to pull yourself from the fantasy is a big step, and it requires a lot of acceptance. Even if you don't leave the relationship right away at that point, you at least have to make the choice that the fantasy is dead in the water and the narcissist killed it. What you want is not going to happen. Remember, you're hearing this from a girl who waited and waited, and she got dropped on her ass with nothing. And that's what we all get left with in the end, nothing. Even if you're the one who walks away, you walk with nothing. At the very least, if you walk, you can hold your head up high. I don't get that, but make the decision that you will stop daydreaming about what will not be, except that you know in your mind it will never be. I know this is one of those things, that's easier said than done. I totally get that. But of course, I have some things to help you here. Living in reality is also about focusing on the now. The article that I teach clients that I work with one-on-one for trauma bonding calls it living in real time. This means not only is the fantasy gone, but so is that coulda, woulda, shoulda kind of thinking that we all have throughout the relationship and even after it ends, that what will happen tomorrow kind of thinking and the like. The fantasies, the hoping, the wondering, the waiting, and the one-day wagers, they stop now. The one-day wager is not a term that I coined. In fact, I heard it from Matthew Hussey, who's a dating coach, but I just love the way, that he put it. We keep saying things like, I'll give it one more day, which is true. We do. We justify doing these things. I can't leave now. Things are going to start to get better. They just need more time. Well, we just had a big fight and they said they were sorry. So surely now I have one more day in me to just stay and see that things will get better. Sure, one more day. But then you do that 180 times and you've wasted half a year. And the one-day wager, as Hussey said, is one of the most dangerous wagers that we can make. So now, how do we go about all this? Stopping all of this, stopping the fantasies, the hoping, and all that. It all comes down to the right now, the living in real time. An incredibly helpful thing you can do is journal. Write down how you feel right now. Lonely, sad, heartbroken, devastated, shock, whatever it is. How are you really feeling? And then you're going to add in that really important why. The why is pretty much always more important than anything else. Why do you feel this way? This keeps all of this in the forefront of your mind, right where it needs to be. The fantasy doesn't need to be in the front of your mind. What needs to be in the forefront is the right here and the right now. Living in the moment. Write down how you feel and why you feel that way, and do it often. Even if it's things like you miss the narcissist, hell, write that down. But continuously reflect back. That's the why. You're going to keep reflecting back. Why? Why do I miss them? Does your mind go back to something that's a part of the fantasy, some nostalgia? If it does, then write down, do you miss the cheating? Because I bet you don't. Do you miss the lying, the abandonment, the abuse, whatever? Because I bet you don't miss those. And that's going to bring you right back to reality, right back to the forefront. Another helpful thing you can do is constantly remind yourself why the relationship is over, or if you're still in it, why it should end. Personally, I stuck Post-it notes all over the place. My favorite was, he cheated on you on your birthday, because I was little Miss Nostalgia Queen, always thinking back to my love bombing phase, and that Post-it note really made me want to puke. It kept me focused on what was real, reality. These things are the reality. And this is what you're trying to teach yourself. The fantasy is not going to be, it is not real, and you have to get real and live in reality. Take stock of your emotions always. Notice how, when in reality, you feel unloved by this person, unwanted, used, fooled, everything else you can think of. This step is all about painting a picture of reality right over that fantasy that you have ongoing in your mind all the time. Another thing I can't stress enough is do your homework about narcissism. Understand why they do what they do. Really educate yourself on the disorder. Understand things like they don't want love, they want admiration. Understand that they don't love you or anyone. Understand what it's like to be them. I mean, not too much because yuck. But I mean, know thine enemy, right? Education is calming. It can give you some closure. It can give you some answers. It's proof that this is real for that nice little reality check that you're giving yourself here. It's more proof of what is real. If you're hanging on to texts, letters, and stuff like that, Purge it all now because it is not real. The words aren't real. The sentiments aren't real. The gifts aren't real. Get rid of it. I burned all of the love letters I got, and I have to say, it was crushing to do. And then, I cried a lot, of course, but damn, if I'm being very honest here, it was empowering and I felt better. I felt at peace. I felt like I had destroyed another lie and I got closer to walking in the light of the truth. I don't want fake, phony anything from anyone. Sweet as they were a fantasy. Empty words said by an empty, empty man. And notice how everything and everyone affects you in the moments. This is all about reality in real time, the right here, right now. Take each moment as it comes, one at a time. Honestly, that's all any of us can do, but we have to stay present, not in the past. The past ain't coming back, and the future ain't here yet. So we don't need to be in some made-up world where things are perfect. Your world will be perfect as it can be, once you come through this in a healthy way. One day you'll look back like I do now, and those fantasies either make you just die laughing hysterically, or they make you sick to your stomach, and maybe a little of column A, a little of column B. But this is step one of taking control back of your emotions. This is taking control of yourself and your life. The fantasy and the wanting, waiting, hoping, it all has to go. The baggage has to be gotten rid of. It's a new day and it's a new time for a new you. The focused you, the in the moment you, the present you, the you that knows what reality is. And this is the choice that you're going to make. This means you're ending things, you're not breaking no contact, you are not giving in to Hoovers. In fact, they're blocked. This is a fresh start for you, and you are going to live it moment by moment, taking notice of how you feel in each moment, and you are going to be present in this world, reality. So tell me down in the comments if you've tried any of these things I've suggested, or if you found this video helpful at all. And of course, if there's anything else you'd like to tell me, drop that in the comments as well. This probably sounds a little bit different than some of my other videos, but trauma bonding is serious and it keeps a lot of us messed up for a long time. So there's not going to be a whole lot of jokes here. But don't worry, there's always Friday's video. I'll try to pull something out there, but this is something where I would like to maintain somewhat of a serious veneer as we talk about, because this is so super vital to break these bonds and get healthy. So next Monday, we are going to dive into part 2, where I teach you how to tackle extremist thinking, because that's a huge roadblock that we have to get past. We're going to talk about that and how it's holding you back and how you move forward like the badass survivor that you are. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't. If you'd like to join the Survivor's Army and become a channel member, there's a link in the description. The video description has a whole bunch of other stuff. If you want a private session with me, there's merch. New merch is coming, I would say soon, but I'll get there when I get there. So have a great day, Survivor, and take care of yourself.